Unbelievable!
Most knockouts make you jump out of your seat. These knockouts make you sit back down and wonder if you just watched a murder, because some knockouts are so savage, they either skyrocket your career or end it. Today, we're diving into the level 100 knockouts in MMA history. Not just the prettiest, not just the fastest, the ones that made you grab your head and say, "Dear Lord, thank you for making me an MMA fan." We're starting light and ending with the craziest KOs the sport had ever seen. Sometimes it's not the speed, sometimes it's the inevitability. Valentina Shevchenko was already painting Jessica Ai into a corner at UFC 238. The angles, the pressure, the clinical violence, everyone knew it was coming. And then, boom!
With a baseball bat.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, heck kick, that's it.
Her body stiffened midair and fell like a tree. And Valentina, she set the tone for the rest of her reign. In 2007, Mirko Cro Cop was a monster. The left high kick was a death sentence. Whole careers ended just from hearing his name. So when Gabriel Gonzaga fought him at UFC 70, nobody expected this. The kick Cro Cop was famous for used to fool Cro Cop himself. He hit the ground, twisted like a crime scene outline. This wasn't just a title fight. This was a collision of two monsters. On one side, TRT Vitor, a human missile, fast hands, explosive power, a killer backed by chemistry and rage. On the other side, Anderson Silva, the Matrix, the sniper, the man who made elite fighters look like they were journeymen. Two apex predators, one tiny cage.
10 seconds to none.
And in less than a blink, it was over. The front kick seen and most likely heard around the world. TRT Vitor flatlined mid-stride. Michael Bisping talked and talked and talked some more, but Hendo didn't need words. He brought a couple of bombs to a fistfight.
You see, as he circles, you catch him on the button. Did you know he was out before you landed this one?
One H-bomb on the feet and one on the ground. Then one more for good measure. Bisping's head bounced off the canvas like a basketball, and Hendo, he casually walked it off, leaving one of the most savage KOs in UFC history behind him. By the time these two fought, the immortal Matt Brown was already a legend, known for devastating KOs, known for brutality, but slowly fading into the twilight of his career. Diego Sanchez, still swinging, still screaming, still willing to run headfirst into hell. And Matt Brown gave him a one-way ticket.
I know your boys and your wife are in the crowd. To be able to produce this moment for them, pretty special, I'd imagine.
One elbow, one clean break from consciousness, it legitimately looked like Sanchez had died then and there. Once upon a time, Tony Ferguson was the boogeyman. Unbreakable, unstoppable, smiling through wars most men wouldn't survive. But unfortunately, the war with Gaethje cracked the armor, and Chandler, he sealed Tony's fate for good.
That's one thing we have never seen before. No one has ever knocked out Tony Ferguson.
A straight-up murder in the octagon. You can see the moment Tony's face starts looking like he's pulling 10 Gs in a fighter jet. Luke Rockhold always fought like he was just a little bit better than you. More technical, more polished, more elite, but none of that matters when you're standing across a Cuban lab experiment. A successful one.
Luke Rockhold, getting him against the fence, making it about the boxing, making it about hands.
When Romero hit him with a follow-up shot, it looked like Rockhold got hit with a double-barrel shotgun. Pride didn't run on rules, it ran on violence, and nobody brought it like Wanderlei Silva. Rampage Jackson came in tough, came in swinging, but it wasn't enough.
We saw some great action early on, and Subban loads the left to the right. And there's a kick for good measure.
One well-placed right hook, a few knees, and that was it. Rampage's lifeless body falling through the ropes. Brutal, just like Silva liked it. Dominic Reyes wasn't some random guy. He took John Jones to the brink. He was supposed to be the next big thing, but Yuri was unpredictable to deal with.
Reyes still firing back. Toughness shown on each side.
A nonchalant spinning elbow, and it landed. Reyes' system shut down on contact, like someone pulled a plug. In early MMA, there were no real rules. No weight classes, no proper gloves, no mercy, and Gary Goodridge took advantage of that. He showed everyone what that really meant. After catching Paul Herrera in a crucifix, he dropped 8 devastating elbows straight to the dome.
Oh my, elbows in number by Goodridge, and that is it.
Goodridge made sure that this KO will live on in the collective MMA memory forever. The first time they fought, Masvidal had an excuse. Short notice, no real camp. But the second time, there were no excuses. And Usman showed that there are levels to this game.
And of all the superlatives,
you can literally see the sweat of Masvidal's head flying off due to the impact of the punch. Just nasty. Ricardo Arona thought that he had Rampage trapped, triangle locked in, victory inches away. Well, Rampage fights just as the name says, like a dude on a rampage.
I told you, he picked him up and slammed him to the ground. He's out!
After lifting him up like a toddler, blasting him into the canvas, and headbutting him in the process, Rampage left Arona unconscious, flatlined, and looking like a man who just got hit by a truck. One violent reminder that in Pride, gravity was also a weapon. Pete Sell landed the perfect liver shot. Scott Smith doubled over, body screaming to quit. It should have been over. It was over. A perfect example of Smith was still dying from the liver shot, but he nuked Sell unconscious before he hit the floor. One of the wildest, most beautifully stupid finishes in MMA history. Overeem had seen it all. K1 Grand Prix champ, veteran of 100 wars, but nobody had seen power like Francis Ngannou. Not until it was too late. Overeem's soul left the arena. Terrifying power. The best Modelo ad ever. Built for tough, built for greatness, and built to be frozen in time 5 seconds after the bell. Ben Askren walked into UFC 239 undefeated. Not sure how, but he did. And he left with the most brutal meme in MMA history.
is brought to you by Modelo.
Askren's whole career boiled down to one bad decision, and one perfect knee, and a few super necessary punches. Chris Weidman was New York's golden boy, former champ, hometown hero, big comeback moment. Yoel Romero didn't give a damn about any of it.
You look at the numbers.
It looked like Weidman got hit by a freight train, and thus Yoel ended the comeback dream. It was a war. 4 rounds and 59 seconds of pure violence. The Korean zombie was pressing forward. Victory was right there. All Yair Rodriguez had left was instinct. Good thing instinct is deadly.
It was an elbow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
1 second left on the clock, and Yair summoned the weirdest, most perfect elbow in MMA history. Uriah Hall was just starting out, just another hungry fighter trying to survive the Ultimate Fighter, but right away he showed who he really was. Dana White called it the most vicious knockout in the Ultimate Fighter's 8-year history. There are fast fighters, there are powerful fighters, and then there's Edson Barboza, a man who somehow combines both like he was built in a lab. Explosive, precise, deadly, Terry Edson found out the hard way.
You want to take a chance and risk getting knocked out? Oh my God! Wow!
Clean, violent, Terry Edson got deleted, and Barboza landed one of the greatest knockouts this sport has ever seen. At first, it looked like a standard move. Buckley threw a kick, Kasanganay caught the leg, standard stuff. Control it, counter it, simple. But Joaquin Buckley wanted to go a different route. It was a glitch in reality, a move that looked ripped out of a video game and landed perfectly in real life. He created a moment so insane it broke the internet and reminded everyone why in MMA you never, ever blink.